What is up, guys? This is our Shaken again. Today I'm going to be talking about Nyx, or Nyx Prime, and the setup that I usually run that keeps me invincible forever. Granted, there's a lot of other frames out there, like Wukong's Defy, which some people just aren't really a fan of. There's Inaros, there's Rhino, there's quite a few when it comes to tankiness, but what if you want to use just a little bit more of a fun feel to it? Um, I when I go invincible, I prefer Nyx. I also prefer the Zenistar. The secondary doesn't really matter. It just depends on what you use. I personally use the new core sometimes, or this guy right here. The reason why I got the new core is, well, I got a Riven for it, which makes it super fun to use. See? And it does a lot of corrosive and radiation damage. I like to bring a little bit of variations, and I'm bringing the comb. No Riven here, but still a really fun weapon. It just melts enemies. It's super fun. Now the Nyx build. Basically, what I like to bring is corrosive projection, and you can do energy siphon if you wish. I just prefer this just because I'm pretty good when it comes to energy for the most part. We're going to do cunning drift, narrow-minded for a little bit more duration. We're going to do overextended and intensify for strength. We're doing fleeting expertise because you want to make sure that you have 175% maxed out efficiency on this build. Streamline for a little bit more. I think I'm losing just a small percentage there. What is that? Let me double check. See if you can't use a. There we go. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a little bit better. You're still getting the max efficiency, but you're gaining just a little bit more duration. It helps for things like chaos or mind control is kind of your thing. Now, the absorb for a second, I don't much care for. The whole point of this is to stay invincible, move around, and absorb passively. You're going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Now, I'll go over my Zenistar build. I hope you guys take a look at it. There's a few things that you're going to be like, oh, why doesn't it have Berserker or Condition Overload or maybe even Drifting Contact? Some of those kind of mods on the Zenistar build. If you actually look into the wiki, the information on the Zenistar, those mods actually don't affect the disc portion of the Zenistar build. So it'd be a better idea to use mods that actually worked on the disc portion, like Prime Fury instead of Berserker, and a couple other mods to compensate. Now, for a Zenistar Riven, it's not going to have to be like super high range, like 60s or 70s. It's not necessary. Attack speed was very important for this build. Range, obviously, and 47% is more than enough, in my opinion. And I decided to go with a little bit more elemental damage, electricity. Now, like I said, you can change the mods for elemental damage. It doesn't have to be corrosive and blast. I personally use that just because it's kind of like an all-around good one for just general use. Now, if I go to an Eidolon hunt or a Tridolon hunt, I actually do switch it for what is needed. And the reason why I actually use it for the Tridolon hunt too is when you throw out that disc, when the Eidolon falls down, or just in general, and you're trying to fill up your lures, if you throw that down, it kills all their shielding, goes to their corporeal form, and then instead of like passively killing them while you're trying to take down the Eidolon shield, then there you go. They turn to the corporeal form, they jump into the lures, you're all set. I mean, it's kind of easy and simple. I don't really see a lot of people doing that, which is really weird. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the simulacrum real quick. And gosh, I hope I said that right. Sounds a little funky coming, because I can never figure out what everybody's saying. Not that it matters, because I always say my own thing, but I mean, still, yeah. That ended quickly. All right. Now, if you guys want to skip like 20 seconds until I get in there, that'd be ideal, because I'm not going to fast forward this, because I just don't want to spend the time doing that. Another little funny little trick that I do is when I'm looking at like the trade chat or something like that, I always throw in like the codex box or DEMU2, just because like stuff like what I'm seeing, it just goes by quickly, and I just don't want the messages to interrupt, because this is console and it can be super annoying sometimes. Alright, now what I'm going to show you guys is I'm basically going to throw out the most problematic enemies that you usually have when playing Warframe, whether it's like a defense or a survival or even a defection sometimes, and man, those are such a pain in the butt. Alright, so usually I'd bring out this team, but what's the biggest issue for me personally, besides enemies that drain your energy, are the nullifiers. Let's see here, let's do 3 of them, and the bombarders. And I guess we can go with 2 of those guys. Alright, now as you can see, I'm just going to play normally, like no interruption, no invincibility. I'm showing you how beefy this can be. In my opinion, it's my more favorite one, instead of like a Rhino or a Naros or Defy Wukong, even though that is fun if you're only using your weapons, because he doesn't have any other cool abilities, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and simulate this. There you go. Alright. Wow. Okay, first key, don't die. How frustrating. Alright, so I'm going to jump into Absorb. Then the first thing that I do is, obviously, if the nullifiers come at me, it's going to destroy my Absorb, which will make me vulnerable and die. So what I usually do is, well, I don't want you all the way up there. That's not the point. Here we go. Seriously? In the way, every time. Anyways, so we're going to knock down enemies, and since the Simulacrum, in my opinion, always has like this weird little issue to where it like doesn't give you like 100% numbers until like after you've killed an enemy sometimes, basically you can go Absorb, lose a little bit of energy here and there, but your efficiency is so high that it's not going to absorb very much. On the other side of things, it's going to knock enemies down with that blast damage, and then you're going to take out some of the more frustrating enemies with the Zenistar right in the center here. Now those nullifiers, where's their shields? It disappears every single time you use the Zenistar's disc portion. So if you're like, well, I don't want to, have my ability just thrown out of the way, then bring a Zenistar. And then it just kind of destroys those. Don't have to worry about anything. You stand right in the center here and pull out your comb, and just go bloop, and just kind of mess around with it. Super fun, super easy, especially for newcomers. This is, obviously you're not going to have the Zenistar, but you can use the comb or the Soma or the Tiburon. It's a new weapon that a lot of people like. Or, I personally like bringing the Amprax in big groups. That's super fun. You can do damage up into like the 130s, 140s, okay. But after that, there is a drop-off of the Amprax. Now, most people that are going to view this are going to be like, oh, this is a 300-day type build, since that's when you get the Zenistar's weapon for free. But until then, you can bring something like something with a lot of range, maybe the Galatine Prime, Ampret, or not Atarax, Skoliak, stuff like that. Now, I've also built up 183. Now, one of the things you're going to be like is, oh, this thing's slow. What the heck? This is going to be super boring. Yes, it will be boring, but the whole point is not to die. And let's say you're doing, a Neo or Axie survival and you want to stay forever, what better way than to do that? And with your operator, you pretty much have your own version of a low key. And if you have certain amp builds, which you should check out my amp builds and operator setup, you're basically shooting with an arc of plasmor. Good to go. So I want to go over here and I'm going to go ahead and simulate a little bit more, and what do you know? Want to get over here real quick? Go ahead. And of course I couldn't have left my guy over there, but I did have quite a bit of an explosion. Go ahead and use your Zeneric powers to charge up in energy over time. And that's that. Well, I hope you guys liked that video. It's definitely one of my more low-key builds, but still very effective and very fun. Obviously I didn't show you any of the other abilities, but if you wanted to go ahead and throw on Chaos and distract them, by all means. That's a good way to, you know, increase your survivability. I mean, you go ahead and Chaos them, you have your absorb, you're with high enough enemies. I mean, there's really nobody that you need. I mean, you could play this single-handedly pretty easily. New core is really good for taking down those shields on the nullifiers as well. It just kind of melts enemies. I mean, the whole point is survivability. Why wouldn't anybody bring this build? Anyways, that's just ramblings of a crazy person. Now, if you guys have any requests or any comments or questions, I will try and get back to you, mostly with more videos, because that's what I'm here for. Alright guys, hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope you guys check out my Zenistar build as well for the disc portion. Alright guys, have a good one.